Well, the thermometer is currently saying 2.1 degrees, so it won't be any painting or epoxy going on today, but there's still a lot of stuff that I can crack on with. As you'll see later on in the video, one of the first things I'm doing is taking the snow off the boat. There's a couple of inches of snow here and maybe a foot of snow over the hills where I've got to go home. So we're not too bad yet. I can still get out to the boat and work. So I was going to tell you what happens in this week's video, but that's entirely dependent on the weather, to be honest. So I'll be surprised as yous. I hope you enjoy, and let's crack on and see what trouble we can get into. Now, I'm over the boat today just to do a few bits and pieces. As you can see, Jack Frost has been here, so it's a wee bit snowy. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the decks and everything cleared so that I can walk up and down safely. It's not too much snow, but it's starting to turn to ice now, so aye. We'll get the decks swept so that I don't end up dipping myself overboard, because the water's down to about 8 degrees now. It's not as cold as it's going to get, but it's cold enough. So aye, I'll just make sure I'm safe and then I'll crack on. I might even put the heater on today. We'll see how it goes. As you can see by those hills, there is a bit of snow. That's the direction that I head home, over those hills there. So aye, I mean, it's not too bad here. There is a bit of snow, but going back home there's a lot more, so I'll have to be careful that I don't get snowed in here. Worst case scenario, I've got a survival kit, I've got a couple of sleeping bags and several heaters here, so I'll be nice and warm if I do get snowed in. But aye, let's see what we can get done today. I was going to say, although it's snowing, it's not actually too cold, but I've got 2 t-shirts on, a top on, a hoodie on and a fleece on and a hat on, so that might be why it's not too cold. But what a beautiful day for it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, just trying this outboard box on here, and what I'm doing was, I was making sure these runners here, I was making sure that they actually fit properly in alignment before I go in the back here and tighten up all the nuts and bolts to their final tightness. And once I've got them tightened on, I can take the box back off and I can put the outboard on it. Aye. But that's the box on just now, dry fit basically, and it's looking quite good. I'm quite happy with it as it is, and I think with the over engineering that I've done, it's going to be quite strong. As you can see, I've got a winch onto the boom and the topping lift just above that, so it's basically going to be the mast that's taking any weight. So I mean, I completely overthought that box, but aye, at least it's strong and it's moving up and down as it should. So as I said, I'll get it back off now, I'll get the rails greased up and I'll get the outboard on the box and we'll try and get it fitted. I wouldn't mind if it's not even rain or snow, it's just that wet stuff in between that slate. Just big inch square flakes that as soon as they hit you, you get soaking wet. But at least I should still be able to get home tonight over the hills over there. Easy for me to say. Sorry, I've got a cough sweetie in my mouth at the same time. But aye, it's a wee bit wintry, but not too bad. I should be able to get some bits and pieces done. Now I realise it's quite dark, and you can't really see things very well, but let me see if I can That's me got the box on, and the outboard, as you can see, is attached to the box. It's in with its screws and it's bolted on. This here, in fact, I'll come back in a second with another light because this isn't good enough. Now, hopefully you can see it better this time. I've got it onto the same pulley that I had it on before, and then I've got a safety rope here, but I've also got one of those wires through the actual clamp, just in case this whole box and everything fails. I've got a fail safe here as well, so that the outboard will not fall into the water. I don't know what weight these things can hold, but they can definitely hold me jumping up and down on them, so it should be pretty safe at that. As I said, I've got this onto the boom and onto the topping lift, and then this is the safety rope that I had as well, so it should be okay. But I'm going to get this down, lowered properly, and then I might see if I can get it wired up and ready to start. So I'll come back in then. Now, this is always a kind of scary moment for me once I put everything back together, and that first kind of turn of the key. So firstly, I'm looking for it to turn over and start. Secondly, I'm looking for it to run. And thirdly, I'm looking for that telltale to start putting water out this time. Sorry, that's actually my breath in the air that you're seeing. I think it's about -2 just now, so it's starting to cool down a wee bit, but not too bad just now. Sorry. I'll turn this thing over and we'll see if it will go. There we go. Oh, there we go. Well, I'm going to let that run for a while and get it up to temperature. Just make sure everything's okay, make sure it's going into gear and things, and then I'll pull it back up and I'll put the cowl on it, and I think I'll probably pack it up for tonight, because it's starting to get cold o'clock, so I'll let this run for a wee while, let the oil and things get through the system, and then when I come back tomorrow I'll give that an oil check, just make sure there's plenty of oil there, and hopefully that'll be good to go. I forgot to mention one of the other things that I'm looking for as well is this number starting to rise. It's been about 2 weeks now, so it was done at about 11.9. So as I let this tick over, I want to see that number going up towards 14 and a half. It seems to be picking up just now, so I'm quite happy with that. That tells me that the alternator's putting power into the battery, which is really good because I broke the small solar panel I've got. So I'm going to have to look at getting another one of them. Now this here is the centre channel in the Salon, and as you can see, we've taken the carpet up and there's a lot of water lying in it, and it's because of that door. The way the rain was running the last couple of weeks, it was, where's my fingers, there we go, it was running down the door, and in this corner here it's actually warped with the water, so it was running in there and underneath and straight in here. So we've had to lift the carpet, and I'm going to fix this door. I'm just going to put one of the wee kind of triangle things out so that it drips over the front, because once I put a hard top in it, that door's getting changed completely anyway. It'll probably just be washboards or something, but for now I need to stop this from happening. We're getting a bit of condensation as well just now. I don't know if you can see that. It's dripping in places that it's never dripped before, and the only thing I can think is that the glue's making contact with the wood in the ceiling here, so I can only think that it's condensation. But what we've done is we've ordered some cork tiles. They're I think they're 5mm thick cork tiles, and aye, we're going to stick them to all the bare fiberglass, and that should stop the condensation. And then we'll put pine on the roof, and we'll put headlining on the sides and things. But we do need to make sure that all the wee leaks are fixed first, so that's going to be one of our main jobs in the next week or so. And there's Sally away in her own wee world.
Just looking at all of this, thinking, okay,
Aye.
get in there and see what you did.
Oh, I did, I think.
Oh, I saw it on the video.
Aye.
Yeah.
But aye, things are a bit disorganised now because I had to rip everything out. So aye, there's a lot of junk on the boat that we're currently moving, and then I had to move stuff just to get this out. So sorry, Lily had to move stuff just to get that out. Thank you, Lily.
You're welcome.
You're a very helpful little creature sometimes.
I can be.
Aye. Anyway, we're going to get organised, and we'll come back in and we'll show you what the plan is, and then end up doing something completely different as usual. But yeah, here we go. Now, that's had a good few weeks for to cure properly and for any gases to escape and things. So Sally's down there with the paintbrush, and we'll get it all painted up and sealed now, and that will stop any UV damage happening to it. But it's looking good and strong, so I'm happy with that. It's just all these wee jobs, there's hundreds and hundreds of them to catch, but I'm sure we'll get there.
It's like joining the dots, isn't it?
Aye. You know what will happen? We'll get the boat finished just in time to start on the new big boat.
I sod's law.
Aye.
But
I wouldn't
we've done
mind
a
that.
good job. No, I wouldn't mind that.
Aye.
We'll know that we've done a good job, and it's got a good few more years' life in her.
She will have, aye. We'll get her all sealed up properly, and we'll get as I said, we'll get the cork tiles on the inside, insulating. Aye, it'll keep her warmer, it'll keep the sound out. But she's a good solid boat, so I imagine she will last a lot of years yet. I mean, as I said in a previous video, if she was big enough to live on full time, this would be the only boat I'd ever buy. She's sleek, she is fast, she can get into, what, 30 centimetres worth of water. That's about a foot in old money.
Which isn't much, is it?
No. Aye, so she's a lovely boat. And she's fast. I mean, sometimes scarily fast. Especially when you're inexperienced. But, aye.
I think what we're doing with her makes her a bit more versatile.
You'll be able to go out in a lot of different weathers wearing things that you usually wouldn't.
And yeah, there'll be the added comfort that we've put in.
Aye.
So, yeah, it'll be good.
Yep. Now this area that Sally is painting just now is going to have a shelving unit in there. It'll be built in onto the box for the dagger board, the centre board. So it'll all look like one. And it'll give us a bit more storage space.
I just have to remember this is wet.
Aye. No licking the wet paint, Lily.
Okay, I'll only lick the dry paint.
Okay. On the windows.
No, have your window liquor.
Talking of windows, this is the window that we tinted a couple of weeks ago. It's no perfect, and it is quite steamy inside, but it works really well. In the daytime you can barely see inside, you can see faint shadows, so I think it'll work for now. And in the springtime when we take the windows out to redo them, we'll get some good quality stuff in there. I might even get somebody over to do it for us, because as I said in the video, it's not my strong point.
And it's the one window that's not full of condensation.
Aye, that's it. It stopped the condensation on the windows as well, so aye, happy at that. Right, back to the painting. Oh, she's got it done. There we go.
Right, well, I'm just marking out some cardboard templates here, marking the stringers and shaping it to fit the floor, and we will then transfer that onto some hardboard, and then we'll take that home and we'll make some copies onto the plywood floor that'll get epoxied and then fitted in place, so we can have a nice walking floor to walk on. But yes, it's a little bit fiddly, but I'm getting there. Right, I've had to patch parts in because the cardboard wasn't quite white enough, so I'm taping them up and then we can transfer it onto the hardboard. Cooperating with me.
Now, we're just transferring these cardboard templates to the hardboard. And the reason we're doing it to the hardboard is because we've got to take it into the dinghy. And the dinghy is leaking. So it'll be about that full with water by the time we get in. And if we put cardboard templates in the bottom of that, it's just going to dissolve. So we'll transfer it to this. We'll cut it out to size, and then we'll take that back home and we will transfer that to the plywood. Once we've got the plywood cut to size, we can sand it and then we can epoxy it in the house. Give it a good couple of coats of epoxy. We've got the stringers measured out here, and as you can see, I've cut it in half. So this half of the board will be on one half of the stringer and that half will be on the other. So I now know where the stringers are on both sides, which means I can pre-drill this in 3 places. And then I can epoxy over it, so that when I put the screw nails through, there's already epoxy in the holes. And when I put the screw nails through, just a wee dab of Sikaflex, stick it through, and that will keep it dry. That will stop the wood getting any moisture in it. So, aye, this is part of the second template now. I'll just make sure all these lines measure up. Oh. I'm just using this as a straight edge because the stainless steel straight edge that I've got, I can never find it. I've actually got another big meter rule as well, can never find that. You would think in such a small boat you would be able to find things. Absolutely not. So, Lily, if you could pass me that jigsaw, please. So. And I'll just turn this round so I don't cut the boat.
Please don't cut the boat.
No, that's the last thing I want. Now, I have a thing. This thing is called a contour gauge. What you do is you put it to whatever contour you want, then you can just lock it with that, and then you can draw around it.
Draw it. Oh, that's clever.
So in here, I don't know if you can see, I'll grab you here, just in here, it's just catching in here where those two layers overlap. So I'll stick the contour gauge on that and I'll cut it out, and that should be fine. Now what I've done is I've marked the edges here so that I know exactly where to put it, and then you just draw along it and it gives you that slight, just that very slight contour. The rest of it's fine, it's just this here, literally. I'm just going to go around it and make it a bit smoother. And then I can just take that wee nick out of there and Bob's your uncle. The contour gauges, they make things a lot easier, especially for this boat, because the hulls come up like that. So if you just had a straight edge like that, as this is coming up, it wouldn't measure it properly because it would be closer here than it is at the top. So this one, as you can see, is angled. So when I wanted to hit the bottom of the hull, I just turned it upside down like that, and it hit the hull perfect. And now I get the perfect outline or contour. They're not very expensive, but they save a lot of messing about.
It's very clever.
Aye. I think what we'll do is we'll take these home, we'll cut out the plywood, we'll bring it back here and we'll just fine tune it, make sure everything's sitting perfect, and then we can epoxy it and put it in its final place.
Aye, because if we epoxy it first, guaranteed we're going to have to trim it.
Well, we'll do the epoxy, but we can actually trim it and then just get a wee sand, and all we'll have to do is redo the trimmed bits.
Yeah, okay.
And then when we lay it down, we'll put Sikaflex underneath it, and then we'll tab it in right along the hull.
And then it'll be good and strong.
Aye.
We'll have a
Yes.
floor again.
Aye, that'll be nice. Actually have a pair of ladders to come down here or a pair of steps, rather than just jumping down into this.
And then me struggling to get out again.
Well, it's kind of waist height for you, so aye. Now, that's all the templates cut out, so I'm just taping them up so we don't lose any, because they've got to go over in the boat and then get chucked in the back of the car, along beside all the tools and a dinghy and an outboard and a lily. So I'm just trying to make sure it all stays together.
I can sit on the roof if there's no room.
You know, I wouldn't mind, but I think the police might have something to say. So let's not try and... I'd rather go sailing than go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's play nice. I know it seems like I'm wasting a lot of tape, but if it keeps it all together, it's worth it. While I remember, I wanted to ask our patrons, are you enjoying the kind of small update videos that are going to Patreon? Would you like to see more? Would you like to see less? How's things working for you? As I said, you know, I want to make sure that you guys are getting value, because you are supporting us and we appreciate it more than you could know. I'm really no good at this kind of thing, but thank you. Aye, and you know, if you like these wee update videos that you are getting on Patreon, when I'm just doing things and all the rest of it, then let me know. Also, as I said in that message in Patreon, if you want in the WhatsApp group, just go onto the video that I sent about it and just say, can you stick me in WhatsApp please? And I'll private message you, I'll get your number and we'll get you in the group and we'll have a good laugh. I think from all of us, we want to give you a massive thanks. It's been a huge surprise, to be honest, that so many people are willing to support us in our dream. So aye, thank you very, very much.
It's very much appreciated, and yeah, like Mark says, it's a real surprise.
This is just got back to shore now. It's about 7:30 at night, so aye, we're starting to kind of unpack the dinghy. But I'll tell you what, winter's definitely here. These colder nights are they're not conducive to going out working on the boat. But what I want to show you is this. As I was saying earlier, this dinghy has got holes in the bottom, and it fills an inch, maybe 2 inches with water. It's not the tubes that let the water in, it's the actual floor. So if anybody knows the name of that sealant, let me know, because we've got to wear wellies. We actually go over in our trainers or shoes and come back in our wellies because of these puddles in the dinghy. So if you know the name of that sealant stuff that goes over the bottom of the dinghies, give me a shout. I need to get some of that and patch up these pinholes and stop this thing from leaking like a sieve. We're just about to transfer the templates onto this plywood and then start cutting that out. We couldn't get a hold of marine ply, so what this is hardwood ply, which, as I said in a previous video, we will coat with epoxy a couple of times and make sure it's good and sealed, and then the flooring will go down on top of that as well. So aye, it's good hardwood ply, so it should last a long while, especially if we seal it properly. As I said, it'll get a couple of coats. The first coat will be thinner so that it can soak it in, and then the second coat will be just standard, and that should seal it. But let's get these templates down and we'll see what I can do. Well, that's the first one. I think with the other ones we're going to have to put another stringer in, because we don't have the ability to transport entire sheets of plywood to the boat. So to get it broad enough, we'll have to put this one sideways for the next two, and we'll have to put another stringer in the centre. But that's not really a hardship. We've got plenty of wood there, so aye, we'll just stick another stringer and that'll be good to go. At least then we'll have good hardwood. As I said, we don't, even if I got it delivered to the house, we don't have the ability to take it over on the boat in full lengths like that, so we'll do it in sections like this, and then we'll just seal it up and make sure it's good and watertight, and aye, we'll stick another stringer in. Right, as you can see, this is quite an old tape measure, so it's got bits missing and I'm having to work around about it. So rather than measure it from that side where there's a space missing, I measured it from the other side and I got my measure here. So that is an inch in, which will allow this to sit on the stringer. I'll cut this straight across here, and then the other bit will butt up against that and sit on the new stringer as well. Now, I've had to turn it in a different orientation just to get the width of it. And this here, this is because the wood had been used for something before, so there was bits missing out, and I've got myself wee notes wrote here not to cut this part out, so that I don't end up going back with a hole in the floor. So you just you adapt.
That was close.
Aye. And to everybody thinking you should be using a bench or a sawhorse or something like that, aye, I should. And just as soon as I can afford one, I'll get one. Although I might save up for a boat before that. So
The kitchen
We'll see.
workshop will do just fine.
aye, you use what you can, you use what you've got. I think I would prefer to have a nice liveaboard boat than another workshop. I used to have a workshop, and I think it was it 23.5 feet long by 16 feet wide by kind of 7 feet high. So I used to do a lot of wood turning and things like that in it. But we're in a much smaller house now, but we're in a much better area. We were in the middle of a town before, and we're out in the countryside now, and the sea, or the loch, is literally 200 yards that way. So it's all a trade-off. I'm happy enough doing this. Before you say it though, yes, protection, PPE is important, and just because I was brought up not using it and being told not to use it doesn't mean that that was right. So after your comments in the previous video, I've actually sent away for 2 full face respirators, so it protects your eyes and your lungs. You were definitely right. But as I said, that comes from a lifetime of me being taught that if you need to put a guard on an angle grinder, then you're not strong enough to use it. So when I was getting taught to use an angle grinder, that daft handle that comes with it just got in the way and it caught onto things, and that daft guard, you had to move it every time you wanted to do. So it got launched as soon as the box came, and you grew some forearms and you used it that way. Not to say that's right. The way people are being taught nowadays is much safer, and as a result you'll get far fewer scars on your hands, and you might actually keep your hands. So, and your lungs.
Aye.
So yes, I agree wholeheartedly with the PPE thing, but it's just a lifetime of using grinders without the, underneath a car on axle stands and maybe a jack and a brick there, and hoping that the car doesn't teeter over on you while you're up under the axle. It's I think it's what you get used to, but I'm learning through YouTube and through the power of subscribers and comments that actually I should be taking better care of myself. I mean, I'm so focused on getting this big boat and sailing around the world and having the adventure of a lifetime that a lot of the time I forget to take care of myself long enough to get there. But thanks to all the comments, we are rapidly learning and we're changing. So as I said, we've got a lot of PPE coming, and there will be more to come in the future.
And we'll put it on before we start a job, not near the end when we suddenly remember.
I mean, as I said, I'm not excusing me not using PPE. You absolutely should be using it. But when you were taught not to use it, that only wussies used it, and if you need a second handle on an angle grinder, sweetheart, your forearms weren't strong enough. And in fairness, if you're underneath a car lying on the road, cutting things off underneath an axle through the wishbone and things like that, then the handle and the guard does get in the way. And if it gets in the way and bangs, it tends to make the disc bounce into things, and then you get it in the head. But I suppose there's put it in a car lift or something like that, and then stand up and do it properly. Anyway, I digress. We'll get back to cutting this board. You know, this is a really good jigsaw. The only thing I miss off it is having a light at the front.
I was looking at that and thinking, that's not got a light on it.
My last one had a light and a laser. And the laser was okay for to help you keep on your path a bit, but the light was something that, you know, really helps because you see the line a lot better. Aye.
But this is a newer model that doesn't have it on.
Aye, exactly. Having said that, it's still a very good tool. Right. And guess what? Still got all my fingers. Right, so if you smell that smell of burning, it's just my brain trying to work. There is one small piece that we're going to have to patch in, so I'm just working that out now. Now then, I'll get this all, in fact no, we'll go sanding first. We'll get all the rough edges and things sanded down, and we'll get the stickers taken off it and things ready for the first coat of epoxy. Aye, we'll come back in once we're doing that. Now, as I said, we're just going to get these stickers off, and we're going to just give it a sand down, just especially on these ragged corners and edges that I've just cut. Just to make sure there's none of these wee bits that are hanging off it. Oh, well I remember, we watched Terry's video, The Bumbling Sailor. We watched his video there on Friday. Congratulations mate, we are absolutely buzzing for you. Sailing around the world, it'll be the adventure of a lifetime for you. We can't wait to see you out there. Best of luck, and aye, we are absolutely buzzing for you. You know, it's actually quite difficult filming in a tiny kitchen with two people that are like the Tasmanian devil that just bounce from one end to the other constantly. So I've got one head down there and one head up there, and
Tasmanian devils.
oh my god, she's too young. Imagine though growing up and watching Taz in the Saturday morning
Aye.
and Looney Tunes.
Oh, they were the best.
Looney Tunes about sums me up perfectly, but anyway.
Right, what's that one done?
I don't think that's all of them.
Good, see? Bit of teamwork, eh?
Aye. It makes the dream work.
Aye. Cheesy or what?
Woo!
All we're doing here is hoovering any dust off it, so that it doesn't stick into the epoxy when we put it on. Now, we're just putting the first layer on here. As I said, it's a nice thin one, so it should soak in really well. I'm doing this just now so that I can see how well it's soaking in, or soaking in even. But we both know this is Sally's job. She's a better painter than me.
Takes a bit longer.
Aye.
But yeah, I don't mind doing the painting jobs.
Well, I've got a master's degree in talking rubbish and you can do useful things, so we're a good team. I think I might have actually mixed too much of this. But we'll see how fast it soaks in.
We've got 4 boards to do, haven't we?
Aye. 4 and a wee
And a
tiny
wee
one.
bit, yeah.
So I think we can afford to be quite liberal with it, but you don't want it dripping all over the place at the same time.
And then we'll put the extractor fan on.
Aye, just to get rid of that horrible smell.
Because it really lingers.
Aye.
I should really start over there. And I'm not leaning over it.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't paint to save my life.
Right, we'll stop it getting on my jumper at least.
Mm-hmm.
I hope.
Once these dry in about half an hour or so, we'll turn them over and we'll do the opposite side. Right, I think we're going to crack on with this before that goes off because it is quite a lot in it and it's starting to darken already, so I will crack on with that and get this done before we've got a blocky solid epoxy. Now that's just got the first coat done and we're just waiting on that drying. But while we are, I just want to touch on something, and it's something I don't usually do. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not one for reminiscing about the good old days and, you know, going into groups just to relive things and stuff like that, especially Facebook groups, because sometimes it can turn into a bit of a peeing contest about who was in the best regiment and all the rest of it, you know. At the end of the day, we all served. We all put our bit in. So I tend not to go into these groups. I tend to focus more on the here and now and living for now and planning future, you know, a future sailing around the world. But I watch TikTok and there's a guy, Pat, he's a veteran and he is one of the funniest men on the planet. Honest to God, even if you're not a veteran, you'll get his humour straight away. And he done a sketch about Veterans Can, this group, and I was invited to it. And to be honest, it seems different to all the other groups so far. There's none of that bravado and nonsense. It's actually about building a community and showing the positive sides of life after service. You know, the positive sides of being a veteran. It's about enabling people. It costs a £5 a month, but that money actually goes in to a kitty. I don't know the exact workings of it, but what I do know is every so often all the members of the community get to vote on good causes, and veterans can put themselves forward, you know. There's veterans kind of helping other people, veterans starting businesses and things like that. And you can put yourself forward and it gets voted on by us, by everybody. Everybody that puts in votes on it. So the money's not going to line somebody's pockets, it's actually going to enable another veteran to start something great, to have a good life. And aye, it seems a bit different. So what I'll do is, if you're a veteran, I'll stick the link in the comments and just have a look at the site. As I said, I don't often do this. I'm too busy living for here and now than reminiscing about how great I used to be. But I've seen a few people on the group struggling, and rather than what would happen on Facebook, you know, people ripping the mince out of them, you know, people have actually commented and says, listen, shoot me a DM, shoot me a private message, we can have a blether and, you know, we'll see how we can sort things out for you. And they're actually supporting you. So, aye, as I said, I'll stick it in the comments. I'm actually getting a wee bit emotional saying this. So I'll stick it in the comments, have a look for yourself and you can decide. But for me, it's actually pretty great. So aye, give them a check out. Now just to clarify, I was only getting emotional because of the fumes off the epoxy there, not because of what I was saying, okay? Don't think I'm some sort of sensitive petal, because then, well, who am I trying to kid? Now, look at us all stuck in here like sardines, trying to get our face in the picture. We're going to finish the video here today. Thank you very much for watching. And as I said, if you want, you know, check out that Veterans Can group, because they're doing a lot of good for a lot of people. They're giving a lot of people purpose again. So, aye, give them a check out. As I said, thank you very much for watching this video. And a huge thank you to our amazing Patreons. We've got Patreons. Aye, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And as I said to our Patreons earlier in the video, let me know what you think of these wee updates I'm putting in during the week, just as a go kind of thing. Would you like to see more of them? Would you like to see less? Would you like longer versions? Just let me know how it's going. As I said, I want to make it as good as an experience as possible for you. But aye, I'm going to end it here, and we'll continue with this epoxy. We've got the extractor fan on now because it is quite strong. So we will see you next week, and we have a few bits and pieces coming next week, so hopefully we can look at a few different things and we can get this floor down, which will allow us to start building a frame for the toilet or for the head. So aye, exciting times.
That will be real progress.
Aye. So thank you very much for watching, And again, thank you to your amazing Patreons. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, like, share and subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.